So just taking a look at the day 17 learning application. Not going to go too in depth on these, especially not as in depth as we just went on the day 16 learning application, because these are detailed drawings, which means these are, you're going to take these parts, you're going to put them on the proper template, and you're going to dimension them as if they were to be, manufactured and inspected. So we need all the dimensions that you can have on these. This is problem one. This one's pretty simple, right? We're going to I would look at it and similar to, this kind of view, I would give, give dimensions going up. I would note the fillet here, the chamfer, what's happening with the chamfer at the top and the bottom. And then just be mindful of how you are supposed to measure these positive cylinders, right? Measure how with the diameters on them. But this one shouldn't be too bad. Let's take a look at the second. So here we have a socket. What? How big is this socket? Does this socket have a legitimate? Is it a 10 mil? That'd be sick. Oh, we're in IPS. Give me MGS. This is not useful, but I'm just personally curious. That is, I don't know why it's getting screwed up there. I don't know. Let's hope it's a 10 mil. That's you always want the lost socket to be a 10 mil. Never mind. But basically, in here, you're going to need to think about how you're gonna define what's happening. Do you need what kind of views do you need? You might need a section view, for example, to figure out what's happening on the inside. To mention everything here. And again, note which way you dimension positive, both positive and negative cylinders. Right? We have a negative cylinder in here. That means a hole is coming through. So you might need to use some different views and take a look at some things because right, we have some stuff happening on the inside here. So just note that, but again, this one's not too bad. Not that many dimensions need to get put on this one. Just some simple things to note. For problem 3, the first thing you may note as you download this piece is the fact that there are some things here that are grayed out, which means that those properties are suppressed. This part is much more complex, and because we the instructors care about your time and want you to not hate life. We have made this part much more simple. If you care to look at how it would look like, you can unsuppress those, but just make sure you have the correct one suppressed here to not hate this part and everything about it. But the most important thing to note on this part is you're going to need, you might need a section view, you might need an auxiliary view. Think about how this circle needs to get defined, right? Because it's kind of at a funky angle here. Excuse me. If we see, right, this is at not a normal angle, no view, we're going to need to come normal to this face to dimension what's happening with that circle. So just note that. But this, again, it used to be, much more complicated. So keep it simple. Don't unsuppress any of these items. And this one shouldn't be too bad either. All right, let's take a look at the fourth one. So the fourth one in here, it's a bit of an abstract object. And again, the reason we give you these objects, because, some of these things are not, objects that you would find necessarily in the real world. We're trying to, because we don't want you to we don't want to give you, 5 parts that all, are real world parts that utilize different section views, auxiliary views. We want to be able to see that you can identify what needs an auxiliary view, what needs a section view, all in one piece, and how to use them. So that's why we give you these pieces. We're not, I don't want it to seem like we're just giving you random pieces. We're trying to test you on your knowledge. We're trying to give your brain a little workout of what it needs to know, so that when you get to those real life objects, it's very easy to identify what they need. But again, in here we have, we have some ribs coming in, we have some chamfers, we have cuts coming through here, but not all the way. So I would take a good look around these parts before. Again, we also have a lot of suppressed features on this one. Please do not unsuppress these unless you really want to have a challenging detail drawing. But basically, we want, think about, look around, see what's happening here, and then go into your drawing template and start figuring out what views you want and all that kind of stuff. And always keep in mind, if you think that you have a way that you want to do it, and when you go into your view palette, which is gonna, it's gonna look just like that when you have it. But when you go into your view palette in the drawing, if you think you have a better way of setting up the views, you can always go to, let me do that again so it's slower. Basically, you can click this button up here, um, and then click that little two arrows, and you can update the standard views. So if you wanted your isometric to look a little different than we give it to you, or if you think that you have a better idea, if you think that, there's a better way to look at it, there's a better way, there's a view that could be your front view, that kind of stuff. Feel free to update those standard views. This is up to you. It's not going to be incorrect if you're, showing it in the clearest way you think you can show it. But this is another one, think about if you need a section view, if you need an auxiliary view. Maybe not on this one, right, because we don't have any, incline lines and stuff like that for the auxiliary. But just take a good look around them before you build them, and they should not be too difficult. So let your instructors know if you have any questions, but that is the day 17 learning application.